All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly collective reading. So good to see everybody today. We've got some fantastic messages coming through for everybody that's showing up today. A spirit totem that I haven't dealt with in a while, a wombat, actually came through. I'm going to put a Paula down so we can get started. And some really interesting messages come through, especially, I don't look at marsupials that much, but this is going to be your totem today, so I can't wait to talk about that. I had a lot of dream messages for the collective today as well. And I think that a lot of these are in alignment with what you chose for today's special topic, which is trying to step into the star potential, the star card, of course, and looking at what might be holding you back from just basically embracing that energy of visibility, of really kind of getting into your power. The one that was really close was kind of what to do after the tower. And I'm hoping that maybe if I put that for next week, we might see that, because I feel like there's some great energy around that as well. Next week is probably more appropriate for that because we'll be getting closer to retrograde. So I like the star for this week. I think that it is really closely in alignment with all the messages that are coming through. So more to come in just a second on that. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. That lovely little furry guy that you just met here a moment ago is my dog, Apollo. He'll make various appearances in the video as he supports us with his playful nature. So I like to make him a part of this because it actually helps calm everyone down a little bit. The way that I organize these collectives, it's basically evolving over time, but I like to give you a heads up before I get started. I'm going to begin with all the channeled messages that I wrote on the table here in front of me. After that, we're going to take a look at 7-day forecast and blessings and blocks, which will help you see good things and challenges in the week ahead. Then we'll look at an elemental breakdown, earth, air, water, fire, etc. Look at all the different signs just by element. Then I usually do a live poll based on some of what I've seen. So there might be one more little viewer's choice thing that we can do here before we get started on the big special topic. And again, today's is really about how to step into the star energy, and the star is one of my favorite cards. So I'm not complaining that you guys chose that. I think it's fantastic. The star is our alignment to source. It's about being able to be ourselves, to embrace all the possibilities. So I couldn't think of a better topic than that. By the way, if you're wondering like what I'm talking about voting, these weekend videos that I do, I always select about 4 or 5 topics. And then I let Patreon supporters, channel members, and also the general subscribership here vote on that. Channel members and Patreon members can vote twice. And anyway, it's a great way that you can show me what you like. I always anything that I put on that list, I'm happy to look at. But then this allows you to kind of make a choice and affect what I'm reading. So there you go. That's the sort of overall layout for today. A couple of quick pointers before I begin, and then we're going to get started here. I saw a question at the beginning. Maria is my moderator. She'll be happy to answer any high-level questions as I'm going through this reading. So treat her with some love, and she'll reciprocate that right back at you. And if you're kind enough to give back, I already see a few people that have given super chat and super stickers, about 3 people. I will say thank you at the very end because I try not to interrupt the flow here, but I see you and I appreciate you, and you allow me to do more of these types of videos. So much love and light. I put a pinned link in the corner if you want to catch up with some of these messages, because I don't do reviews. You can see all of them on my channel here. Let me just mute this in the background because again, I like to kind of keep the flow. So it's at Nicholas Ashbaugh on social media and at nashbaugh on Twitter. So take a look at there if you'd like to. Again, in the pinned link, you'll be able to see it. So without any further delay, let's get going. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. It's really great to see you. And let's take a look here and get started here. I saw my moderator saying that there was some issues with videos. Everything going okay at your end? If there isn't, let me know in the comments below, but it seems like everybody's able to see and hear me. I'm going to assume that the answer is yes, unless I hear otherwise. All right, let's go ahead and get started on your spirit totem for today. It is the very cute, lovely wombat, which is a marsupial, like I said, native to Australia. It looks cuddly, but they have very sharp claws. So I don't think this is something that you definitely want to kind of snuggle up with, but they're very cute. I was just going to see if I could, show another picture of this. They look really, really cute, but look at those claws. You do want to be careful with that, right? So let's talk a little bit about this lovely totem. from Australia and connect with how this is going to help you this month. So Spirit Totem is a wombat. And this is, like I said, a marsupial. It lives underground. So this is definitely grounded and sort of earth-based energy. As we're tuning into this, I would get like king or queen of pentacles energy, like owning your own domain, really connecting with your house, really having a firm hold on your resources in your life. This is definitely a big piece of this. It uses those sharp claws that we showed you to basically create these burrows or areas underneath the ground in eucalyptus forests and also in open grasslands. And when I'm thinking of that too, just as a general symbol, I think of the claw being able to like basically you're able to go after what you want. All of the ace cards in Rider-Waite-Smith have a big hand there showing you something, but we also kind of use our own hands to go after it. I kind of think that the ace is something you meet halfway. So when I see that claw symbol as well, just like if I was looking at a bear or something like that, I see the ability to go after what you want, to protect what you have. There's sort of this protective energy with it as well. So anyway, the claws are interesting, and you don't always see that when you're just looking at the fuzzy animal. A very interesting piece to it. They have a slow, almost reptilian style metabolism. And when I was researching the koala bears, I believe that they also have a very slow metabolism. This is not necessarily because they're lazy, it's because they've evolved to be very resourceful. Part of that also extends to the fact that they're nocturnal. They like to sort of sleep during the hot part of the day and then go out at nighttime because it requires less body regulation. It's actually a very smart evolutionary trait that they've picked up. They've learned to kind of slow down. They require a lot less water than a lot of other animals. So low water, low food intake, high sort of return on that. So the trade-off is that they're slower. There's always some sort of give and take with nature, and that was their choice, basically. So that's why they kind of look a little bit slower. There's a little extra weight around them, but they're basically conserving resources, which I thought was a really cool aspect of that. And they get a bad rap in Australia because they're a nuisance to gardeners, but they are at risk because, again, they've been treated as pests sometimes. So let's look at the positive aspects of this. I think it'd be really cool to see that. Here in the States, we don't have like many marsupials. I can't remember if it's like possum. I can't remember if an opossum is one of them, but there's not many. So I think it would be really cool to see things like this. We should love all things in nature, and this animal looks pretty amazing. So what I was looking at here is that they are masters at conserving energy, and they require fewer resources than other animals, which I think is cool. And they remind us to slow down and conserve our own, whether it's time, money, love, etc. And I think the time is one of the things that we sometimes end up overextending in. So thinking here of like 2 of Pentacles or 7 of Pentacles, where we're sometimes pushed to overcommit or we have a hard time saying no. The wombat comes through and is basically saying, this is what you should focus on. Don't go overboard. It's going to be okay. Stay grounded, stick to the facts, avoid gossip or rumors as well. Again, going into the grounded energy of this totem, which I think is really cool. Okay. Speaking of metabolism, for the rest of us, there is one thing that we want to look at with this, which is maybe amping up exercise. Standard disclaimer applies here. You always want to work with your doctor, health professional, physical therapist, etc., before changing a routine. But generally speaking, amping up exercise will be good for those of us that are physically able and ready. Work on motivation and inspiration. The rest of us that may be fit and just kind of feeling a little bit ho-hum, waking up in the morning thinking, I'm not ready to do this, I'm not feeling it. Go into the energy of what's causing that. Is it a lack of connection to like what you're doing, which we fall in and out of love with things all the time, when you're in a career or studying something, and you really want to honor that and think, is it just because I need a break, or is it because there's been an internal shift? If that shift has happened, then better to sooner than later kind of deal with that and decide, well, when and how am I going to decide to take a turn in my life? I've talked a lot about my different career changes and choices. I decided probably 1 to 2 years prior to quitting that I was ready for a change. And I started to learn tarot. I started to learn how to practice yoga and be a teacher if I wanted to. even though I'm not, I'm certified to teach. And I kind of practiced that a couple of years prior to doing the actual separation from the path. So it wasn't something that happened overnight. I needed more money. I needed more time. I needed some skills. So I always, when I hear people saying it's too late or I can't do it, I think, no, you just need to plan. And it may take time, but anything worth doing takes time. So are you ready to do it? And if not, then can you find a new way to get connected or motivated to what you're doing right now? Avoid sleeping too much or too little. You can actually sleep too much in it. If you've ever done that, typically you feel anxious, or you might have nightmares, or you actually get groggier. So you want to find that happy medium point between sleeping too much or too little, right in the middle. Make sure that you're listening to your body, and create a routine and stick to it. If you're having problems, it could be anything from stress to sleep apnea to diet. So you're really going to have to probably work with a doctor or professional on some levels if that's a bigger issue. It's not something to sort of scoff off, because it can cause bigger things during your waking hours, like lack of focus or concentration, increased blood pressure, all sorts of things. So if you're not getting enough sleep, talk to your doctor. They can put you in the right direction. Even an ENT, they can kind of see if it is something like sleep apnea, etc. Ear, nose, throat doctor, for those who don't know the acronym. Okay, so next piece here. Because this animal is kind of awkward and burrows itself in the ground, it's nocturnal. Sometimes it comes out a little bit in the daytime, but they're usually hard to spot. Social interactions could be a little bit difficult. You could feel like that wombat trying to figure out how to stumble your way into a social interaction. It's worth the work, but you might have to kind of see how you're coming across and push through the awkwardness and not worry about it a little bit. Try to come out of the hermit shell. Definitely heavy hermit energy with the wombat. Also a lot of pentacles energy with the wombat. But I love pentacles. I think back when I learned how to read cards, pentacles is one of the easier suits to learn. Pentacles and cups. Swords is a little tricky. Wands it's not bad either, but I really like pentacles because it's something we can relate to. So I think this month having tangible, tactile, database sort of stuff in front of you is going to help. So get to basics, ground yourself, and that's what the lovely wombat was bringing across for all of us. Okay, let's move on to the many dream messages that I got. They were pretty specific, and I think I'm able to help you all see how this is going to relate to you. So the first thing that I was shown was a series of images that reminded me of like hide and seek, almost like we were in this really big mansion or house and trying to kind of like be outside then inside and looking for things. So this could also represent Seven of Swords, because hiding sometimes in the shadows is what you would see on the Rider-Waite-Smith card for Seven of Swords. So what we want to look at this month is avoiding any game playing and really focusing on the proper timing, because that's the same, like with hide and seek, you want to make sure that you're not kind of sometimes in the same place at the same time as the other person. So some of you are focusing on these, it kind of leads into the next thing, which is tiptoeing around a big ego or a big issue. And I think it's better to air the frustrations or just stop the games and have a conversation than to keep this sort of walking on eggshells, tiptoeing around, use whatever metaphor you want, or kind of knowing that something's happening, but kind of turning a blind eye to it. Two of Swords, you want to look at stuff. So we want to get the Swords energy out and focus on having a conversation. If it's going to be swords, it better be the Ace of Swords, Page of Swords, something of that nature where we're actually creating change. So that's the message here. And for those of you that this makes sense for, you'll understand that you can't ignore it anymore. And the only thing that could be kind of fun here is there is playful energy with hide and seek. So for some of you, I think you're really excited to show something, but you're trying to figure out on the timing. Is it now? Is it later? Should I do it? Do they see me? Is it okay? So kind of going through that internal dialogue and figuring out what you're trying to do is going to be really helpful. All right, the next piece was super specific and also really cool. I was shown percussion instruments in like an orchestra, but they were very small instruments, like finger cymbals and a triangle, and then some other exotic things that I've never seen because I don't sort of play in an orchestra, but some of them didn't even look like things I'd seen before. And percussion is interesting because you can use anything. You could get a bunch of nuts and bolts and put it in a glass and shake it, and that can be an instrument, right? So basically, what I was seeing is that alone, these may just sort of sound like noise or be very faint, but when you put them together, they create this music, this melody, and also they're very powerful. They're part of the percussion. They're keeping the rhythm. They're keeping the beat. So if we abstract this into something larger, many small voices alone are just sort of chatter, but when you put them together and they're focused on the same thing, big changes, a big message can come across. So small voices alone, not very effective. Many small voices combined with a similar voice, a similar vision, creates a big message. There's power in numbers. So if you feel frustrated, more likely than not, there's other people that feel the same way. Get them together. Grassroots. Kind of, if we go back into the wombat thing, they're in the grasslands. So let's get back to the basics, get everything together, and spread the word. There's a chance for you to really make a nice impact if you work with others. If you can also get everyone to sort of see one or two common interest goals. I think that could be an exciting time to create some big changes in your life, okay? The triangle itself reminded me of the symbol for fire, and it's a chance for you to kindle things or rekindle things like a passion in your life, going back towards a dream that you've forgotten, getting inspired, finding inspiration, and finding inspiration can be something where you consume things. So if you're, let's say you're an artist and you're just not knowing what to do, get out in the world and see and listen and experience things that normally would inspire, whether it's food or music or cinema or anything, building, getting your hands sort of dirty and putting them in the earth. Get back again to basics and get inspired, because we all get to points where we're just burnt out. So taking some time, taking a holiday or vacation, really important as well. Okay. The next thing was I was shown a series of maps and blueprints because again, kind of going to that hide and seek energy, I was trying to figure out how to navigate. So I think for you this month, really make sure it's a good message anyway all the time, but create a plan before you start a new adventure or venture or any sort of project, because if you wing it, you may still figure it out. You may still stumble upon some sort of great epiphany, some big idea. But if you can get there first and think, I'm trying to accomplish this, these are the resources I'm going to use. Now let's work on integrating them. Then you're more powerful because you already know where you're going. And as a writer, that's something that I channel stuff, but you usually have to know where you're going on certain arcs of the story. So the same thing is true in life. It's kind of like going to college, but not knowing what you want to do. A general degree can help you, but if you get very specific in certain things, you can even be more effective. So think about getting specific this month. And this, when I read for this part, it can be really the next month or so. The 7-day forecast will be just 7 days. This next piece was super powerful, and I've never had this particular dream before. Sorry, I forgot a letter, M-I-G-I-C-I-A-N, magician. So I was sitting at the magician's altar, and that we would see in the Rider-Waite-Smith card, where basically you have one of every resource. So, swords, cups, pentacles, and wands. But I was seeing different tools in front of me, but they weren't quite sharp. They weren't quite complete. I even saw a deck of cards, but only half the cards were there. And I was stressed about trying to get the tools, find the right tools. And I felt like I had to put a show on, just like a magician would, but I wasn't ready to perform because the tools weren't ready. So prepare and double check your tools and instruments in particular. Do you have everything you need? Your tools and instruments will be different based on the type of person you are and the type of professional you are. So if you're a writer, make sure your computer's up to date and your software's up to date. If you are a musician, have you tuned your instrument? Do you have extra strings and things like that? Sorry, neighbor's dog outside. All of these things are going to be important. So figure out what your homework is and what your preparation is that you need to do. And this is the time to make sure that you can put on a show, because it feels like you're going to have a moment to shine. That's actually the next piece that I see. And this is what we're going to wrap up before we get into the 7-day forecast. But I feel like there's going to be this show and tell moment. We had a lot of games or childlike games that were coming through, playful energy of like the 6 of Cups, all through dreams last night. But the show and tell piece is good, but you have to feel excited about it. If you think back to school when you had show and tell, If a bunch of other kids had really cool things to talk about, you felt like, I don't know if this is what I want. Maybe I'll just skip show and tell today. I want you to be really excited and think, no, this is one of the cool things. So the preparation work is important at the magician's altar. And then the confidence when you go out there and become the star. This was a nice segue into our big idea later today. You have to feel good about it. Until you feel like, I can't wait to show this, wait. Because it's not worth it. There'll be regrets. I've had this happen in my life before. I'm sure you have too. So you can always, take the extra time and make it perfect, but you can never go back and, take back those words or erase something that wasn't quite ready. So be prepared. I'm not telling you to procrastinate. I'm just telling you to prepare and fully believe in what you're doing. And I think that's really key. Okay. One last little piece as I'm looking at this card. People do want to know where you stand and what you want. So where do you stand? What do you want? What are you looking for right now? The more you know this, the sooner you can articulate this, the better it's going to be for you, because it's just more powerful. People can see that you've got it together. So try to get all of that into something that you can almost give like an elevator pitch of an idea or a vision or where you're at. Less is more. So I've talked before, actually, that there's power in being able to put things on a card. So if you're trying to start something new in your life, whether it's a business or if you're trying to do something different and you want to articulate it, put it on a card. And I've said before, like if I were to sum up what I do, it's to raise consciousness. Like I could actually put it in two words. I try to raise the collective consciousness. I try to educate. I try to inspire and empower as well. And I try to normalize spirituality and discussions, like have intelligent discussions about it. But raising collective consciousness, that's, I would say 3 words can sum up everything that I do here, at least on YouTube. So figure out what you're trying to do. It will be helpful. For some of you, you might be trying to heal. For some of you, you might be trying to teach. For some of you, you might be trying to grow. Whatever it is in your life, it doesn't have to be world changing. It's what's right for your soul. Because for some of us, we've been through some stuff in this life and in others, and we may just be looking for stability, security, predictability, whatever it is that you want. Figure it out and then be able to articulate that. Okay. So the wombat was grounding us. It was reminding us that we can go after what we want, conserve, but also focus on having enough energy and enough passion to get things done. We don't want to be so sluggish and so conservative that we're not doing it. So the wombat has a little bit of both positive and negative energy. And then avoid 7 of Swords. Timing is key. Focus on the little voices coming together, making a big change. And remember to get ready. However that is, mentally kind of psyching yourself up, technically making sure all the tools are ready. That preparedness is going to be key. It'll be interesting to see if it comes up later when we look at the main topic for the second part of the reading. But we got a lot to talk about prior to that. So let me stack up all of these cards. We don't do a review. I kind of did a mini one right there. Like I said, all of these will be on my social media platforms. So you can click on the pinned comment above and you'll be able to see these on social media later. All right, so let's get into the next piece here. And I was called to get a deck. Let me see if I can find it here. If not, I'm going to choose a different one. But we're going to look at a 7-day forecast. And the 7-day forecast is going to help you navigate all of the sort of main energies. It's not going to be granular. This is sort of like a high-level view of what's coming through over the next week. And I found it. So last night, my guides literally in my dreams were showing me the sun and moon deck, and I should have had this ready here, but there's a lot to prepare for. So I was looking at the moon last night. It looks like we're very close to a full moon. So probably for tomorrow's reading, I'll do something with that. We'll see if it makes sense for today's. Today we'll be probably using the star in the meditation, but I'll probably pull the moon into tomorrow's reading. I think I'm doing Sagittarius. So feel free to listen to that meditation if you want to. All right, so we're going to be looking at a 7-day forecast here, and then I'll break it down after that to look at blessings blocks and probably a viewer's choice as well, but I want to see the main energies coming through. All right, so let's get this set up. I always pull one for today and even next Sunday too, although I'll probably revisit next Sunday's energy when we do it live. All right. So today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and next Sunday. Okay, let's take a look at these and then we'll get some additional insights. All right, so for today, it's really about finding some perspective here. We have the Five of Cups. The card was reversed, but I just want to kind of pull it up right so we can take a look at this. Notice the reflective quality on this card. I really love this illustration. And already it looks like she's really kind of cozying up to the two cups that remain. Looks like the other ones are right here. And I also love that, I can't tell if, it looks like these are lotus blossoms or water lilies. So the water lily piece is important because, or the lotus blossom, because we just talked about this as a totem recently. And it's one of my favorite ones. It requires pushing through difficult layers, going through all the mud, going through all the sort of muck to get to the top and blossom. And everything that you see, again, it has this sort of network in the ground that we don't even see. So all you see are these beautiful things floating on the top, but they had to take quite a journey to get there. So what has your journey of the soul been to get where you're at? Can you see truly what your own potential is? Or are you kind of projecting your own version of yourself that may have more insecurities or more setbacks than you think? So I want you to see yourself as the world does, which is strong, which is capable, which is being a survivor. And I want you to embrace the two cups, the Two of Cups that are with you. Five of Cups is an illusion that you're alone. The two cups that are with you are showing you that people are interested in you. There's opportunities around you. There's great ideas around you. And there could be a partnership opportunity. There's always hidden love or support within the Five of Cups, but there's the illusion of isolation. Depression often plays this role where it feels like nobody understands us. What you have to do is to reach out, to let people see it from your perspective, to let them in, right? So for many of you, that's my reminder for you, is that you are loved, you are important. There's more than what you see. People don't just see what you see, they see something more. And if they see something more and it feels kind of good, accept that. That's the hardest thing sometimes, is to accept a compliment, to celebrate success, not in a braggadocio way, but more sort of like, yeah, I really did work hard for this. That feels good. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Just thank you. You don't have to do more than that. Thanks. That means a lot. So accept a compliment, accept the fact that you might be doing better than you think, and allow people to step in, change the perspective, and look around you. There's always, with 4 and 5 of Cups, there's always things that you may not be paying attention to that are worth celebrating. So gratitude is a great way to transmute this and to see it from a different perspective. Queen of Pentacles, I expected to see her, or the King of Pentacles, which is good because of the wombat. So this is a really good card. This Queen of Pentacles, it's interesting. She has much more of a Queen of Wands environment, because normally you would see Queen of Wands in the desert, but we see the oasis right here. And we see her not bothered, not having a hard time at all dealing with what's going on. And it looks like she's just holding, the big coin right there in her hand, in her right close to her stomach. So for me, Queen of Pentacles represents opportunities with work. It can be house, home, love. It also, to me, is the maternal card as well, just like you would see with the Empress card. So birthing, development, nurturing, all of this is good. Monday's a great day for this, everyone. Tomorrow's looking really, really good for anything that you want to focus on. I see progress. I see development. Some of you might be focusing more on yourself, but look at the oasis and the horizon there. There's something to celebrate. There's something to look forward to, okay? So I like what I see here quite a bit. Monday is a good day. Put your mind to something that you can productively see some work happen with. So if you're blocked in one area, just keep moving until you start to get into your sort of creative flow, all right? Tuesday is when I feel like there's just one big thing, and it could be so important to you that it becomes a block. We have the Ace of Wands here, but the Ace of Wands was reversed. So ultimately, almost any ace is positive, but the Ace of Wands reversed could be overthinking or worried. You could be worrying so much about trying to meet up to somebody's expectation or your own sort of high bar of excellence that you are getting in your own headspace. So stay inspired, stay passionate. And I think that the important thing for you to do is to just Continue to let things flow through you. Don't block and edit in the flow. So this is really important. It's really for anybody. Let's say you're an engineer and you're trying to solve a problem. There's one piece of it that's not working, but you're making a lot of progress here. Just get everything on paper. Then you can get another set of eyes, or you can sleep on it. You'll be able to get the perspective. As a writer, you have to sometimes write stuff that you don't like first and then go back and rewrite it. As a painter, you might just need to get some of the basic colors and everything down before you can see where you need to focus. So get those initial strokes, get the initial words, get the initial numbers down on paper, because if it stays up here and you just keep editing it, you're going to edit it to oblivion. So this is a day to just let it flow. Ideas need to flow. That's the Ace of Wands. So don't block the flow, okay? That's going to be important. Tuesday's still a great day once you get past your own perfectionist tendencies, and once you get past the need to maybe understand everything at once. Sometimes we just need to brainstorm, ideate, share, and download, okay? So just get it all out, however that works for you, whether it's talking, writing, working, creating something. That's the important thing with Tuesday. So very productive, very practical Monday, very intuitive flow sort of energy coming through on Tuesday. Wednesday is a day where you're going to have to deal with hurdles, people that might be able to say yes or no. We have the Hierophant in reverse. So what this is showing me for you is that you think outside of the box, or maybe your boss is unconventional and they're trying to get you to do something that you're not used to. We see a very Zen Hierophant here. I love that there's the cow right by him as well. This is the sort of, I would say, sometimes where you're just stuck in your head and it's sort of like stubbornness. That's what I was trying to say. So be peaceful with your own stubbornness or with someone else's, and try to open up. So if it's them, say, well, let me try it. If it doesn't work, maybe we can try it my way. Or you can do that plus maybe pepper in a little bit of your own ideas, but make sure that you're delivering on the expectation, and then you can kind of move around it. Sometimes people need to be shown, though. So if you have a feeling that there's going to be way too much conversation about it, get, like I said before, the grassroots support. See if some other people can come forth with the idea, and maybe even your boss or the other people can kind of feel like they're owning it, but you can get the movement to happen. You're going to have to work around that decision maker, and you're going to have to keep your own mind open. So openness in sort of approach, technique, and routine is going to be essential as we look at Wednesday. Finding a way to have fun with the Hierophant energy. Get organized. Some of you are lacking organization. So planning and organization are good. That is something that's a great tenet of the Hierophant. So the more you can get things in a way that makes sense for yourself, they're probably going to make sense for someone else too, okay? Now we're going to look at Thursday, and we have the Hermit, but the Hermit's reverse, and that's a good thing. So the Hermit is reminding you to come out of your shell, because this particular Hermit is reversed. You've learned all the lessons that you need to from the time that you spent out on your own. And if you keep to yourself too much, sometimes we risk things becoming so abstract, esoteric, or detailed that only we get it. So this is a time to let some other people into whatever it is that you're doing, to make sure it's a gut check moment. Does this still make sense, or have I gone too far? So this is a moment where it's good to listen and to accept some feedback. It's also really good to get out of your element, your routine, your usual way of doing things. So I want you to really work at coupling up with people on Thursday, listening, and probably doing more listening than talking, but just interact. I think that's really key, okay? Friday's a fantastic day. It feels like you've learned all the lessons from the week, and you're going to have a very productive one. We have the Knight of Swords, or Prince of Swords, in this deck. Movement, communication, progress. I feel like you're going to be able to get something off your checklist. And if you needed to send something out or get a signature or something like that, Friday's the magic day to do it. Monday's not bad either. So Queen of Pentacles, really great for getting someone to lend money or support, but a signature, something final, getting something moving, Friday, I definitely see that. Okay, so the work week days look pretty good. As we go to next Saturday, it's a really nice day for love. We have the Knight of Cups here coming through. I love the playful dolphin on that as well. Find a way to have some fun, find a way to be yourself. Try not to take things too seriously. You really do need some time to just sort of do something for yourself. And Saturday's opening up with all of that energy. Great time for love, great time for passion, great time for creative ventures. So I love it. Probably one of the best days of the week because you're happy or more open to just sort of being yourself. So we like that because that's the kind of theme of today, is being the star, being yourself. All right, as we kind of take a preview to next Sunday, which we'll revisit when I do the live, and because we're doing this, you're going to affect the energy of this anyway, but this is where you're headed a week from now. We have the Seven of Pentacles, and I love this particular card because we sometimes have a tendency to kind of paint ourselves into a corner, or in this case, she's sort of like tracing these circles around herself. So I want you to be really open and make sure this is the planning thing. When you paint yourself in a corner, like in a house, it's because you weren't thinking about the right way to kind of do the home improvement. And then now you've got to tiptoe around all the paint and the whatever the sort of construction is that you're doing. The other thing that so basically plan so you don't end up having to retrace your steps. This is also orbital. So it almost feels like she's the star and she's creating the orbits around her of what she wants, which I love. So this is the growth part of the Seven of Pentacles, which is, this is my power. And this is where this sits in my power and energy circle. How much do I want to give to this? How important or unimportant is this? So what's your Mercury? What's your Pluto? Figure it out. Figure out where things sit. And you're probably going to have some Jupiters and Saturns that have their own points of view. So anyway, figure out your orbits and what's going on as far as love, projects, priorities. The Seven of Pentacles is good because you actually have enough. It's just about making sure that you don't overextend. Because sometimes with the Seven of Pentacles, we don't learn the lesson of the Six of Pentacles, which is balance, yes and no, saying yes and no to certain people, and also just looking at scope and reasonability on things. So just be reasonable. Understand if you're biting off more than you can chew. All right. So one more quick recap of like the best days of the week. I think the best days of the week to get stuff done, definitely Mondays and Fridays are coming, or Monday and Friday are coming through really strong. So getting the resources together, getting the signature and things finished. So this is Monday and this is Friday. As we look at the middle of the week again, what I'm seeing is to not overthink on Tuesday, to figure out a way to work around some sort of a gatekeeper, if you will, on Wednesday, and then to really work with teams or other people on Thursday. And in relationships, what we're seeing here is probably the best day of the week will be Saturday. And I think what you're going to be doing during the week is sorting out a lot of stuff for yourself. As we look at both Sundays, this Sunday to next Sunday, perspective, and then once it feels like you're really sorted out by next Sunday, because the Seven of Pentacles for next Sunday is so great, I think, with that the orbital energy around it. So what we're really trying to look at as we're doing everything today is to how to get you in those proper sort of organizational orbits, get everything around you so that you feel like you're in control and that you can shine. So she definitely is in alignment with today's topic. Okay, so let's take a look at blessings and blocks. I'll leave these cards here for a second as we do that, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper into that. All right, so blessings and blocks. I'm going to use the same cards because these are beautiful. So let's take a look at blessings and blocks for the week. So we have King of Wands for the blessing. Let's take a look at block. And we have the Queen of Wands. All right, so right off the bat, so we'll talk about the blessings first here. So just as a card in and of itself, King of Wands is, I love that we have a unicorn on this, but it's a fantastic card because what it's showing me is that when it comes to being able to lead, to organize, and to run the show, that's really where your strong suit is. Whether or not you're comfortable doing that is another question, but you definitely have what it takes to be a good leader. You definitely have what it takes to pull things together. This is a very active king. He's not sitting on his throne. He's riding the horse and getting out there and making things happen. And there's the triangle that I was seeing in the dreams. Sometimes a triangle is not just an instrument, but it's actually showing fire, which we see at the top here. So this was very much in alignment with the channeled messages, which was to go towards that passion. What makes you excited about life, about getting up in the morning? If it's not your job and if it's not your relationship, is there something that you can cultivate in your life that brings that sort of inspiration in? Because those other things are part of it, but they don't have to be the total sum. What's your soul kind of yearning for? How can you also maybe put a little bit of that in your the other things in your life? So that's combining what we see with the orbits here. Okay, I want to put a little more passion here. I want to put a little bit more practicality here. So find your passion and start working it. The blessing is you know what to do. The question with this is, are you going to do it? Are you going to take that step? Be brave, because this king is also a knight. He's kind of going forward and not afraid to kind of like embrace what's out there. All right, the block, really interesting because we have relationship energy coming through with these, which I'll talk about in just a second. But the block is, again, being closed off, overthinking, being stubborn, sometimes being blocked by someone like that, like a parent, a partner, or a boss that could be coming into your life and just saying, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, or I want to do that, or I'm the boss. So we see two really evenly matched people here, and the other person has just a little bit more experience or confidence, and you have exactly the same energy. You just have to find it. I want to see two kings here battling and saying, I can do this. So I always think the queen's a little bit more powerful because she has the divine feminine energy to create. So realize that resourcefulness, going back to the wombat totem that we had earlier, that's all that matters. You don't have to have as much time, age, experience, money, popularity as someone else. All you have to do is have more resourcefulness, more belief, and ultimately the confidence is going to be important. But pulling the resources together and pooling them as well is going to be important. Welcome to all the new channel members. It's good to see you guys. Thank you. So that's the key thing here. Now, in a partnership, I think that one of the super challenging things is going to be that you have so much in common. So this could be, definitely could be a family member, but if you are dating someone new, if you have been assigned a partnership, whether it's at school or at work with someone, oh my gosh, sometimes you wish that there was someone that was just a little bit more complementary, like not having the same skill set. If you're butting heads because you both feel really passionate about something, you're going to have to pick swim lanes and decide, I'm going to trust you on this. You're going to take this. I'm going to take this. And we're going to agree not to micromanage each other, because we're both here for a reason and we were paired together for a reason. And if you mess it up, you own it. And if I mess it up, I own it. And maybe we can learn to kind of give and take once we prove ourselves to one another, but it feels like there's a little bit of that. So really define your swim lanes, define your roles. And again, going into this definition energy of the Seven of Pentacles, it's going to be so important to you. So the block is sometimes just understanding that this is where you're going to stand your ground and how you're going to do it. This was what I saw in dreams with the Seven of Swords, tiptoeing on eggshells, broken glass, whatever the metaphor is that you want to use. You have to figure out how to have that difficult but necessary conversation. All right. So let's put a couple of messages up here for viewers' choice, and then I'm going to take a look. Actually, we'll do that, and then we'll get into the special topic. So as I'm looking at these cards here, let me create a poll. So we're going to do a viewer's choice for whoever's live. Give me a second to type these, and then you'll be able to vote on it. This only works if you're watching live, but usually people have a great connection to what needs to be done. So as I'm looking at this, the first thing that I want to look at is difficult conversations. So I'm going to put that as poll option number 1. And then I also want to take a look perhaps at the perspectives here with the Five of Cups. So finding the silver lining. And then maybe for the third option, I really love this orbital energy that's coming through. So maybe if there's a message on setting priorities and goals, and I'm just going to put that orbital stuff because that's what we're talking about. I'll just put, no, I'm out of space on that. So setting priorities and goals. So, okay, I'm going to put this poll up for everybody to vote on right now. You should see it at the top if you're looking at it on a computer or a mobile device that supports it. I'll give you a second to take a look at it. And I'm going to see if I can look at a different question while you're voting. So I'll do a soul path question here. So I asked a lot of good ones. I'm going to look at something that you guys never asked me about. So I'm going to say, is there anything that we can do for relationships right now? So my soul path question that I'm choosing as a reader is how to come out of your shell. And because there are some partnership things here, how can you be a better partner? How can you connect more in relationships, etc.? Never say I don't look at relationships. All right, so let's look at relationships while you're voting, and then we'll take a look at what you've selected for me to look at. All right. Yay, we have the Three of Cups. Get out there, have some fun. Don't take it so serious. The Three of Cups can be a lot of fun. Sometimes it gets a bad rap, but when I'm specifically looking at how to get out of your shell, if you have a friend that makes it easier for you to go out because they're an extrovert, maybe you're an introvert, or maybe they just know a lot of people, pull them along to the special event or to whatever it is that you want to do. It's so much easier to be around someone super social. It naturally sort of pluses up your energy and people just think, oh, you're connected to that person, and they can kind of help you weave in and out. So don't be afraid to find that extra person that can kind of like really be a mover and a shaker. It's kind of the reason that, you know, some people have managers if they're famous because they're not so good at the one-on-one in real life. So if you're not so good, get that extra person in there to kind of help you out. That's going to be great. If you're rusty because of the pandemic and you haven't talked to people in a while or dated people in a while or seen your friends in a while, when it's appropriate, when you can, etc., etc., this card is saying, just make it something fun, easy, light. It will be okay. You'll fall into an old rhythm. With relationships, it's about rekindling the fire, which I saw with the triangle symbol. So finding passion. And if there is a third party that's somehow coming in between you and someone that you love, figuring out what that's about. But mostly the Three of Cups is about having fun or leaning on that extra person. All right, I'm going to take a look at the poll right now. It feels like we have a winner, so let me end it. Looks like it's setting priorities and working with that orbital energy, but I'll wait for it to report back. And indeed, we got a pretty good majority on that. So thank you to the 326 people that voted. By 44%, we got setting priorities. Difficult conversations got 35%, but let's take a look at setting priorities and goals. So what can you do to be just like the woman in this card, getting things organized, pulling in the right kind of stuff? All right. Let's see what you can do to set priorities and goals and get things orbiting around you. It's a nice segue into the next piece, which is going to be the special topic. All right, so we have the Nine of Wands here. Nine of Wands in reverse. So what I love about, and by the way, what's at the center? The sun. We have a lot of moons and around this particular one, but we do have the sun. So lots of stars, lots of suns coming through for today. Nine of Wands does not give up. So there's a sort of somewhat pushy energy, but this is important if you're going to be managing and getting things to kind of move in your life. Don't be afraid to be a little kind of like out there, a little pushy to make something happen. You also don't want to give up on things. So look around you. When picking an orbit, when picking something that's important, to me, Nine of Wands, if I'm looking for someone that I really want to lean on, this is a hard-working, very trustworthy, very grounded person. So when you're deciding what to put your energy into, if there's a relationship, a coworker, or something in your life where it's tried and true, you know if it's like a pair of shoes that fit and just work and you're comfortable, or an outfit where you know you look good and you feel better because of it, I want you to go to that go-to, and this is where you really want to put the majority of the energy over the course of the next week or so. And then I also want you to look at what is closest to completion when prioritizing, because the Nine of Wands is nearly there. 10 of Wands, it's out the door and it's, you know, on its way. 9 of Wands, we're seeing something get very close to completion. So finish up something that's almost done, put time and energy into the tried and true stuff, and do not give up. This is a very stubborn card and it's a surviving card. So typically you would see someone with a bandage on their forehead. They've been through the ringer a couple times, but they are not giving up. So survivor energy, near completion energy, hey Apollo, and also energy of something that you can trust or you feel really good in. I'll move aside so you can see him. Apollo's back, giving us some support in the background. So there you go. This is the main thing. And remember, this person has also owned that they are the star. So thank you so much, Nine of Wands, for giving me a perfect segue into the main topic for today. Okay? Love it. So powerful messages. Good week ahead. By the way, let's just celebrate the fact I don't mind if I see this stuff anyway, but there was no devil, there was no tower, there was no 10 of swords. So the energy this week is very manageable. There really wasn't anything tricky other than what I was picking up on in my intuited messages. We'll see if it comes through in the cards themselves here in just a second. But so far, I feel pretty good about the energy of this week. So now we're going to get into how to step into the energy of the star. What or who is stopping you, I believe was the exact title that I put up there. So let me see which cards are calling to me today. I think I'm going to use Afro Goddess because I like this deck, and we'll take a look. All right, so let me focus now on what's coming through, and I'll rejoin you in just a moment. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're well. If you're new here, this is for everybody. Oh, actually, we've got one more piece. I almost forgot. Elemental. So let's do the elemental stuff. I'm going to use this deck for elemental. Actually, different deck. No, this deck, because Spirit showed it to me. All right, we're going to do elemental real quick. So what we're going to look at is fire, earth, air, and water. And then we'll get into the main part of the reading. My guides spoke to me and said, don't forget. All right, elemental. Let's see. We're going to begin with fire. I'm going to leave the camera down while I'm doing this. So take a look at fire first. Page of Swords. All right, let's take a look at earth. Knight of Cups. Let's take a look at air. Strength, and water. Seven of Swords. I knew you were coming through. All right, let's take a look at all of these cards. All right, we'll begin again with fire, which is Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. I really like the energy for fire this week. We have the Page of Swords, which is basically showing you the ability to send and receive messages and get things done. It's a go-getter sort of card. You may find yourself sort of in between as the messenger because a page is a messenger. So if you are in that sort of messenger role, make sure that you are understanding the message that someone gives to you and delivering it in a way that is also understood. Communication, really, really important, okay? But it's an upright card, so I'm not overly worried about it. I love the page in particular if I'm looking at page, knight, queen, and king, because it's a very approachable card, and the energy is coming through in a really great way. If you are ready to start something, this is hands-on. So construction, if you want to start building something. If you are a writer or an artist, creation, so construction, creation, communication, all those sort of C words are coming through with this. Action. What are you going to take action on? So this week ahead, fire, it's really important to act and communicate, state your intent, and make sure that people understand that as well. Good week, good card. All right, let's move on to earth. Earth, emotions are playing a really important role this week. With Knight of Cups in reverse, it's really important for you to sort out. This is when I was talking about the channeled stuff. Where do you stand? I would say also, how do you feel? People may tap on your shoulder and say, hey, what do you think about this? How do you feel? Are you excited? Are you upset? And I want you to be able to kind of find a way to communicate what you think and how you feel in a way that isn't overly emotional. Because if the emotions overpour or kind of get in the way of the communication, then all people will remember is that there was maybe too much anger or too much enthusiasm. So find a way to really get them excited about it or to communicate the feeling without pushing too much of it onto them. Self-care is super important for you. So before you get anything done, I actually want you to take some time. Take a day off, take some time to yourself, sort it out. You know, when we were looking at the 7-day forecast, and I believe we had the Queen of Pentacles or whatever in the first card, it's really important maybe on Monday for some of you to just spend some time at home or with yourself or kind of getting things sorted out. The sooner you do that, the better. This is also a download card. Energetic and emotional. So some of you just have a lot that's coming out. And as I said earlier, when we were looking at the middle portion where the Wands card was in reverse, that Ace of Wands, this is where some of you might just want to write or speak or talk or kind of get this stuff out. Talking to a professional, a friend or therapist, also really good. But this is passion and this is creativity. So whereas fire is getting a lot done, you're getting very inspired. You don't want to get in your head too much or your heart too much to get in the way of the inspiration, taking action. I'm not worried about fire. Earth, however, your feelings could take you off the productive part of this. So find a way to get into that. Good time for love, because we do have a Knight of Cups, but you need to feel it. Don't, you can't fake it basically. So if you feel a mutual connection, attraction in a new love, I would say that's fine. If you don't, figure out what's going on. Is it, you know, just honor your emotions. In existing relationships, you matter, your partner matters. Feels like there's a little bit of imbalance there. So making sure that each partner has a little bit of space and a little bit of time to sort things out is going to be key. All right, let's move along. That was Earth. We're going to move along to Air. We have the Strength card. It's reversed, but I want to visit it in the upright state first, just so we can see the lovely card and illustration and talk about it a little bit. We're looking at... So we did fire, which was Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We did earth, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Air is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And with the strength card coming in, I think the important thing for you in air is to focus on not overselling or overstating it. With the strength card in reverse, sometimes it's so hard. This is, again, when we were looking at those two similar energies that were coming through in blessings and blocks. I feel like you really feel like you know something. You're very passionate about something. And because you are air, you've done the work, probably in the homework, to actually know something. It should be able to flow easily. If someone in your life isn't ready to receive the message, they may not be either worthy or the correct channel to receive it. So if it's work related, let's say you're trying to find someone to buy something from you, like a product, an idea, a service, or represent you like a manager or an agent. If they want you to change yourself, or they don't have the capacity to sort of like see you as you are, find someone who can celebrate you. If you are trying to work within an existing relationship and get the other person to see your perspective, we don't want to force it. This is a super peaceful strength card. When it's reversed, there's no need to sort of unnecessarily exert strength or authority. So leaders, good leaders, don't have to say that they're the leader, and they don't have to say that they're right, and they don't have to remind you of your place. They simply kind of hold an air of strength and leadership. They walk into the room, they say things in a certain way, they look at you in a certain way, use your body language. You don't have to touch or say, you have to just sort of emote and project. And it's going to be really important, body language. There could also be someone in your life that is trying to put words in your mouth, trying to control you, trying to say, no, you can't, yes, you must. And this is the time where you would stand up to them. But use your words, because you're air. So find a way to communicate and find a way to demonstrate and lead by example, because more likely than not, this person isn't walking the walk, they're just talking the talk. So you're going to stand up and really be strong and communicate and lead by example, and remind everyone around you that you don't have to prove it. This is the main thing here. You don't have to try too hard. You don't have to prove things, and you don't have to convince someone that doesn't want to accept it. Just move on. Find an audience that's more receptive, is what I see here. Focusing on physical strength, really important right now. Maybe you're feeling tired or fatigued. Maybe there's certain parts of your physical health that aren't to your liking. The strength card is reminding you, air signs, that now is the time to take care of that, okay? And now we'll end with water. Water, we've got the 7 of Swords, which I was kind of picking up on way back in the beginning. For many of you, I feel like this is the tiptoeing energy, less the sort of like hiding from the truth. I think it's more having this feeling like I'm not sure if I'm ready to have this conversation. So again, water, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. It feels like many of you are, because you're sensitive, because you're kind, because you're empathic, you're worried about what someone will think. You've noticed maybe even something that you need to talk to someone about, and it's sort of like, oh, I don't know if I should do that. Yeah, it feels like you need to have a necessary and a difficult conversation with them. And even if this didn't appear in the poll, I'm going to still kind of answer it here. One thing that's cool with Seven of Swords is you can cut losses. You don't have to sit there and have a battle. Sometimes it makes more sense to walk away. Sometimes it makes more sense to say something and lose that connection because it had already sort of played its course. It's already run its course, rather. So I think what's important right now is to not spin your wheels and not stay in a negative situation too long. All right. Elevate your communication in the same way that I was talking to the air signs about, reminding yourself that what you say, it follows you around, and also what you say kind of sits in the energy of that person. So only say things that you're not going to regret. If you can't articulate it in a way that is kind, if you think that the other person is going to kind of come back, be combative with you, rather, then I think that it's important possibly to walk away. So say it if you can say it, or let it go if you need to. But the important thing is you either need to resolve it or move on. That's important. Setting boundaries, cutting losses, all of those things are necessary. Because you got the Seven of Swords, I'm going to give you a bonus card. That was the only difficult one. So let's just see if there's a clarification for that and see if there's anything else here. Don't rush something. So you got another interesting card. I'm so sorry, Water. You've got some things to work through this week, but I always tell the truth and talk about what I'm seeing here. The Hanged Man is a necessary pause. So for some of you, you're being asked to just sort of wait a half minute before moving into the next thing. So learn the lesson fully in this moment. You will not repeat it again. This is as difficult as it's going to get. And when you resolve it, you will be free. If you don't know how to say something, sleep on it. When Odin was sitting in the tree of life, he waited until the vision, the clarity came to him, all the runes, basically. So for you, get it together visually, get it together cognitively before you have the conversation, then it will be worth it. So one last quick review of fire, earth, air, and water. Fire, good week to take action. All the C words that I was talking about: create, communicate, construct, all of that. So again, fire is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Earth, we're looking at Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Your emotions are going to be your best and worst friend this week. So find a way to channel, to communicate around them, to kind of allow that to lift it up, but not to sort of overpower them. But it's also a good time for love, but you have to be sorted out this week. So emotions are super important. Moving on to air. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. And you shouldn't let anyone put words in your mouth, nor should you be the puppet master trying to put words in their mouth. Things need to be easy in that respect. Focus on physical well-being. Really get this vessel as strong as possible so that you can embrace all of the opportunities that are coming to you. So again, that's air for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And then looking at water, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You have something that you have to deal with. Wait until you figure out how to say it, but it is something in the next week or so that needs to be resolved. When it's resolved, it's done and you're free. And you have this bigger view of what's important to you. So it's a blessing in disguise, okay? So there we go for the elemental stuff. Let's go into the main big topic today, which is how to embrace the energy of the star, looking at what might be possibly getting in the way of that star energy, or what might be helping it, okay? But let's shuffle the cards and see what needs to come through. This message is for everybody. The only piece that was specific was the elemental portion, which I just did. There's the tower. It came through anyway because I knew that that energy was kind of coming through. All right. Looking at, again, how to step into the energy of the star. What or who is stopping you? When I pull the expanded forecast in a spread like this, we're going to be looking at it all from the perspective of, again, what are your hurdles or what are your options? So I'm still going to expand the forecast because I like to see what's going on. It's uncanny how many triangles we're getting today. All about fire, all about passion. Really interesting. Okay, let's go into Health, Wealth, Love, Destiny. Okay, we got some great messages coming through for you. Okay, so let's break this down. Let me take a quick drink of water, and then we're going to look at how to step into the star energy. All right, how's everybody feeling? Hopefully you're enjoying the reading so far. Just check the chat real quick to make sure everyone's alive and doing well. Okay, so we have the stone card here. And this is in the catalyst position. A reminder that the catalyst is a way for us to stay connected to purpose, to source, and to basically not get in our own way. And so when I'm looking at this particular message here, again, when we're looking at not getting kind of boxed into a certain situation or way of thinking, to allow ourselves to go into that sort of fiery energy, something that keeps coming through. Where's your passion? Where's your fire? Ground that passion. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but ground yourself in that passion is what I should say. Because when I think of stones, I think of pentacles. When I'm looking at this, I see a big old ace of pentacles, and it's kind of like overprinted over a symbolic ace of wands. So your power and your resources and your energy are all connected, and it comes from your passion. So if you're not working your passion, you're not working, or it's not working, things aren't working. I think that it's so interesting because we are trained to be successful, and being successful sometimes is meeting up to societal norms and expectations. It's not necessarily doing what we came on the planet to do, not what's making us feel excited about doing something. So people want us to just fit in and do the traditional mold. So for you, your passion may lead you outside of that circle. But if we didn't have people that did this, we wouldn't have like Shakespeare. We wouldn't have, you know, Billie Eilish or whatever. You wouldn't have people that are doing their own thing, right? Singing their own song, writing their own story. So do something different, do something weird, go left of center. Okay, so this is a chance for you to do that. And I was talking to a relative about one of their friends that kind of is in a point of life where they're feeling like they can't do it. So whether you are like, it can get especially scary for those of you that might be mid-career or later, like retired. So if you're, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, you're in that sort of range where you're either really successful in the middle, or you've just retired, or you're in later retirement and you're trying to figure out, like, is it too late? It's not too late to try something new. You just have to figure out, what do I want to do with this path, and how serious am I about this? Because predictable is good, but it is predictable. So you're never going to see a big change if you do what you know you can do. If you try, you could really surprise yourself, and then you open up this whole new path. So if the heart wants to soar on a new path, then allow it. You can do it in a planned and sort of protected way. Get a safety net, figure out how much risk you want to take. But if you never take a risk and play it safe, then you haven't really pushed the needle. So don't be afraid to push the needle somewhere. You've got to do that. It's like the car. If you're not putting your foot on the gas, you're just sitting there and the engine's running, okay? put the foot on the gas and figure out how much you want to invest. Okay, that's really what we're seeing here with the stone, which is really a fire symbol. So it's interesting. Okay, let's go to the center. So the first thing that could be blocking you is not working your passion. The thing that could be lifting you up is working your passion. All right, now let's go to the center. I love the Tower reverse because you have the capacity with the Tower reversed to affect change. You are not simply falling away from the Tower. It's almost like you're falling into an opportunity. I was speaking to, let's see, what was the last sign that I read for? Scorpio? Yeah. So I was reading for Scorpio, and I talked a little bit about approaching the Tower like a surfer would. And there's sort of like, they're right on the edge of danger, right? So when you're surfing, you're just trying, I don't surf, but I'm just kind of putting it out there. But a surfer has this sort of really strong wave of energy around them, and they're figuring out how to navigate that. That wave can make them crash and burn. It's definitely going to crash into the shore and move things everywhere. But if you hit it just right, it pulls you nice and easy to the shore. So guess what? Change is happening around you, within you. And you can either navigate the change, surf the change, or the Tower is going to grind you up and make it happen anyway. So let's not be a part of that sort of like, tumbling to the shore sort of thing. What is that? I forget there's a word for that, but you don't want to have that happen. You want to surf the wave of the Tower and be better, okay? So with the Tower, the reason that it comes into your life is that something hasn't been working and the universe is saying, if you don't fix it, I'm going to fix it. So if you're not listening to your intuition and the people around you, not paying attention to signs, symbols, and synchronicities, then it's going to be important for you, wipe out, yeah, thank you. Then it's going to be important for you to just realize it's going to happen anyway. All right, so the universe is coming in and saying, hey, I'm sorry you weren't able to make this change. I'm going to make it easier for you. There's no choice but to make the change. So for those of you in a job, it could be like downsizing, merging, a company going out of business because you hated the place or you felt stuck there, but you wouldn't quit as long as you had the job. So the universe says, fine, let's get that obstacle away. Then some of you may sit in that and think, oh my God, what happened? Now what do I do? Meanwhile, the universe is like, I'm trying to help you. You didn't need to be there. Focus. So the block here would be to try to do the same type of job again when you have an opportunity to start to redirect. So if you were laid off, if you are looking for work, if you have been made redundant for any number of reasons, now is a chance to not repeat the same job if you don't want to. If you want to, it's fine. It might just be a chance to get an upgrade in pay or in title, or it might just be a better environment that you can go into. No matter what, where you were wasn't what it was supposed to be. Even if you feel like it was, there was something there that wasn't allowing you to grow, so you were pushed out. In a breakup, same sort of thing happens where you feel like you love the person to the moon and back, but the relationship falls apart. And now you have a chance to do some work on yourself and to not necessarily put it all on the other person or beat yourself up about this, because now in the absence of the person, you have a chance to reevaluate, to work on yourself, to re-navigate, to create something new, and to figure things out. So whatever your Tower is, whatever the interruption or the disruption is, it's there to help you focus again. It's basically saying, here, there, like it's the universe pushing your head in another direction so you can see. And appropriately enough, we have the Seven of Cups right on top of this. What do you want? And I put that in my channeled messages. It was the very last card. The universe wants to understand what do you want and where do you stand, right? That's the sort of show and tell. The show and tell can also be being put in the spotlight. So what you need to do is figure that out. Where do I stand? And what do I want? And there's really no wrong options in whenever I look at the Seven of Cups. There's just a lot of opportunities and a lot of things that you have to sort out. The tricky part with Seven of Cups is ultimately only you can say what you want. Some of you might find yourself in a period right now where it is just about discovery, research, and exploration. So that can kind of, for those of you that are there, don't rush it, but I would say you can't stay there forever. So there's always a happy medium between putting everything on the whiteboard or the chalkboard and then trying to go there and circle maybe the top 5 or the top 2 and then getting something started. So accepting the change and exploring the opportunities are the 2 biggest things, and then not sitting too long and the fear of the opportunities would be the next piece. Deep past. Some of you are very critical on yourself. We have the King of Swords in reverse, and the King of Swords reversed is basically coming through, and for you it could just be, I am not this enough, that enough. It could be someone else that denied you access to something because in their opinion, not necessarily because it's true, but in their opinion or in their light, in their sort of vision, you lacked what they had. But that was one person, not the world. So what we want to do is release harsh judgments and critical thoughts. We're going to go into our head space a little bit and reset. You know, back in the day when we used tape machines, it's like kind of taking that cartridge out and putting a new one in, and it's fresh. You're starting from scratch, and you're going to put a better mantra on there. I can, I will, I am, and look at all those butterflies there. Once you change your point of view, things start to shift, movement starts to happen, and this is a really powerful card to come through. Don't be afraid to say what you want. King of Swords is bold and is willing to get out there and sort of say, yes, I want this. Yes, I'm ready. Okay. So I want you to be bold, but I don't want you to be overly critical. I think that's the potential block here and the potential opportunity for many of you. Okay. Let's look at recent past things that have been happening to you in the here and the now for many of you. So we have the Son of Cups here, or the Knight of Cups, and I talked about this the other day because I was reading with this card. So we have a white peacock here. Sometimes there are albino peacocks. It happens. What I like about this is just being comfortable in your own skin. And so for many of us, we worry about conformity. This is about not conforming and being singular and using the singular voice to differentiate oneself. For many of you, there's also just a lot of emotional baggage that you have to sort out. And the card was reversed because you need to find a way to make peace with that. It's a cool little, I've never really looked at it. It looks like there's koi fish in here too. So for some of you, there could be a really strong Pisces energy that's popping into your life that needs some time and energy, and you're going to have to sort out how much to give and take, or again, a water sign that needs a lot. But because I see the actual Pisces in the water there, I'm kind of pulling Pisces energy. So figure out how much you're willing to give to others. Make sure you're getting enough. If you are the type of person that at the end of the day is exhausted because you've done too many social activities, you've helped too many people at work, you've listened too much, this is telling you stop that, because you're actually depleting your battery. So you can't become the star if your internal engine is done. That's actually what happens when the star goes supernova or turns into a white dwarf. The energy is gone. So we don't want that. We want you to keep producing fuel. So you got to fuel yourself, otherwise you go nova. And that's kind of what the tower is at the center. So we want to, if you've already gone supernova, remember a supernova can create other stars. So you've got a chance to begin again, but you can't keep doing that. Okay. We have the Six of Wands, which is ultimately success. Good news, this is in your crowning position. Do you see that you can be successful? Because I do, because Spirit does. If you believe in that success and you hold that in your vision, good things are going to happen. Remember, with the Six of Wands, the important thing is always to do it because it feels right, because you connect with that, because, again, it's in the authentic flow, not because it's expected. Six of Wands can be a peer pressure card. It isn't reversed, so it doesn't have to be. This is really going back to the perspective that we saw with like the Five of Cups that we had way back in the beginning when I was looking at the 7-day forecast. So that was coming through for today, so it's appropriate for Sunday. So for today, we're just going to look at what's possible. We're not going to focus on what's requested or required or expected. It's like, what do I want to do? What's possible? How is this going to happen? But ultimately, I see success. If you're worried about, can I be the star? Can I succeed? Yeah, it's right there. You have everything you need right up here. This might need to connect as well because we have the Three of Swords here in the near future. So the biggest potential block, and this is in the middle of the next 3 to 6 weeks. And as I looked, I pulled the dates for retrograde, so I had them. It's September 27th to October 17th. We have a retrograde period popping up. So this is going to be one of the main issues many of us are dealing with in the retrograde is disappointment, unhappiness, relationships that might be kind of winding down. So whatever your big sort of issue is that is upsetting you, the sooner you can embrace it and fix it and feel better here, the better. If you're not happy, doesn't matter what we're working on. This card is more powerful than or can trump any of the other positive cards, because with the Three of Swords, if you're not happy, money isn't going to be good. Your health won't matter that much either. Like, things just kind of fall apart. So let's focus on satisfaction, fulfillment, and dealing with grief or dealing with frustration. The sooner the better. What I would also say with the Three of Swords is, I think health is more important than wealth, because without health, the wealth that doesn't matter. So emotional and physical health are priorities over this retrograde period. So if there's anything that's not working in health, make it happen. And if emotionally it's not there, this is the number one priority. Even though the other things may factor in underneath, you've got to get healthy. You've got to get into a place where your emotions are in a neutral space as well. Most important pieces. Okay, let's now look at the other stuff. Looking at you and how you're showing up here in the soul, we have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is a great card. It feels like you're walking away from something, though. In the upright position, it can be making a new cycle. In the reverse state, it can be breaking a cycle. So it does feel like some of you need some time away from something, and it may be a stepping stone to just a goodbye, a no, a divorce, a quitting sort of energy. But sometimes we have to take a break first, and it feels like some of you are doing that. This can be a sabbatical. This could be a vacation. This can just be a sick day. Whatever the Eight of Cups is for you, it's typically saying, I need some space. I need to discover who I am, what I want, where I stand, like I said earlier. That way, the universe also knows how to deliver. The Seven of Cups is powerful because ultimately she's going to take one of those cups and say, this is what I want. So for some of you, you need some time away so you can get that clarity and that perspective. We have the Two of Cups right above this. So for some of you, you are stuck in a cycle in a relationship where it's not going anywhere. This could be a business relationship. This could be a love relationship. This energy, the cyclical on, off, or constantly sort of in the middle energy could be draining your internal combustion, your internal engine, and not allowing you to shine as much. So get some clarity on that relationship. The key relationship, it doesn't have to be love, could be friendship, could be love, could be work, but it's something that you spend a lot of, it's interestingly enough, like work relationships almost constitute love because it's like family. You're obligated to work with them. You spend a lot of time with them. So it reads the same way in tarot. So whoever this is in your life, it feels like there needs to be some clarity for some of you on what it is that you want. And if you don't want it to just be the same thing forever, then there might be a need to sort of say, well, this is not what I'm looking for. Or maybe let them know what you're looking for and give them a chance to figure it out themselves. They're going to have to go through their own Seven and Eight of Cups moment to think, who am I? What do I want? Where do I stand? For the rest of you, this is a super powerful card for letting go of an old habit that you don't like. So if you haven't been eating healthy, if you haven't been working out, if you've been drinking too much, smoking too much, whatever your vice might be, this card is saying, I have the power to stop this now. And you do. So this is really good for breaking a cycle. And with the Eight of Cups, and if you start doing it before the retrograde and kind of continue it through the retrograde, you're done with it. This is a really good period to have something stick, a new habit, a positive habit, replacing something that you don't want. So that's the big opportunity right now, is to figure out relationships, make sure that they are giving what you need them to, like you're getting what you need out of that, and making sure that the habits in your life are healthy habits, not things that are kind of, again, pulling down your internal star power. All right, so let's look at environmentally what's going on. Well, I really love the Two of Cups, even if it's reverse. To me, it shows a highly attractive energy, magnetic energy. You can pull in what you need. But I find it intriguing that most of your Cups cards were reversed. All of your Cups cards were reversed. The other cards are upright, but the Cups were reversed. So with this, it's showing me that balancing out and feeling like I deserve a seat at the table, I deserve equity, being equal. I deserve to be here. All of those things are important. So just really feeling worthy, feeling ready, and feeling received, like you're like all of that, being listened to, finding your power and feeling like you earn it. That's why the strength card popped up earlier too. For some of you, is that it's important. It was the air signs in particular. I think that it's important for you to feel strong that you've worked to get to this moment. Okay. It's a great time for meeting new people. I keep getting a lot of cups cards coming through, but with the imbalance in them, it feels like self-confidence, perspective, and goals have to come in, or these are potentially squandered opportunities. So get yourself sorted. But definitely, is there love potential? For sure. Lots of love energy coming through as we're looking at everything, even though you haven't asked me that. But do you love yourself? Do you love what you're doing? If you don't, you're going to be calling in people that question why you're there. So this is why this card came through. So if you feel like you're an imposter, we have that imposter syndrome sometimes, you'll get someone who challenges your authority. Hey, why is this person here? They don't have as much experience as me. Hey, why did they say that? I think they should do this. So if you really start to own your power and feel good about it, there's going to be fewer of those people kind of like saying, hey, in the background. So get there so that doesn't happen. So you're not pulling in people that are teaching and testing you. You want partnership, not teachers. And that's the opportunity in the environment. There are both waiting. The universe is saying, what are you looking for? Right? Okay. Let's take a look at, this is really big. This is the opportunities here. So anything is possible. We've got the Six of Pentacles, but there's some constraints on this, which is the time or the amount that you're going to put into this. So you have to make some smart choices. I will take this any day over the Two of Pentacles, though. This is the base card for success. So if you want to make a sacrifice, like if you want to start a new career path and you've saved up enough, the Six of Pentacles tells me you've got it together. You've got a plan. You'll make it work. It might be a little bumpy at first, but then you're going to get there. So if you're wondering, can I do this? Will I be able to? Yes, but you still have to kind of believe in yourself and put all the resources in place. You can't do everything at once. You can't do everything in a short amount of time. You might have to limit scope or lengthen the sort of delivery date on things, but you can do it if you want to. So say no to what you don't want, say yes to what you want, and don't let people walk all over you. This is having proper limits. It's a really powerful card. Even though it's a minor arcana, it's a really important minor card, okay? Here we go with the Five of Cups again. And it's the outcome. It makes sense because we're talking about it today. The card was reversed. We're a little bit closer in on this because these are bigger cards. So what we see right now, I like that it's reversed. It's telling me that she is done looking at the stuff that isn't working. Again, with the Two of Cups here, which, by the way, showed up in the environment. Are you ready to receive? Are you ready to receive the opportunity? It's knocking. If not, you're stuck. So the thing that could really be blocking you is focusing on what wasn't working. And again, I was talking to a family member that, again, was telling me about one of their friends, and I was so frustrated because as an intuitive, what I could see was the possibilities. When she was talking about her friend, that the person was focusing on what hadn't worked and all the stuff around them, the practical stuff that was making them think that they couldn't go there. So if you don't focus on possibilities, they don't open up. So the biggest block, the big so what today is you got to focus on the Two of Cups and the Five of Cups. You have to focus on who is ready, who is willing. When everyone else falls away, was there one person that you could count on? Are they still there? Let's do something with them. That's the one. When everything falls away, the one person that is ready to kind of connect with you, it's basically the universe did the weeding for you of the flower garden, and you know which one's going to bloom. So that was the big thing here. Things had to fall away. Maybe a disappointment had to set in. Maybe you had to kind of like walk away from something in order to get it clear in your head. And so ultimately now you're left with a gift. Are you ready to receive the gift? I hope you are. Let's go a little deeper, and then I'll kind of summarize the big answer to the question that I posed earlier, okay? Moving on to health, wealth, love, and destiny as they affect the question, who or what is getting in the way of me being the star or you being the star? Okay. Number one thing in health, and it's a good card for that, is healthy choices. So thank you, angels, for helping guide me to make healthy decisions. Card is reversed. Many of you have put others' health and happiness first because you're a mother, because you're a teacher, because you're someone in the medical field, because you're a healer, because you're a reader, whatever. You are putting them first because you care. But where are you in the equation? Where are you in the scales here? How are you balancing out? So the number one thing for you to do is to make healthier choices with respect to all aspects of your life. What you eat, who you hang out with, what you spend your money on, what you're deciding to occupy your free time with, healthy choices. And it's appropriate that that came through in the health card or the sort of health area, because it's just saying, you know how to do it. You've done this before. Be strong, be consistent in that area. Specifically looking at, from the aspect of health, it's dealing with disappointment in life, because very rarely, there are a few people that are lucky and they just seem to have like this Midas touch and they just fall into awesome situations. But most of us get rejected somewhere. We ask someone out and they say no. We apply to a school, we don't get in. We apply for a job and they take someone else. We apply for an apartment, or we put in an offer for a house, the other person gets it. Everybody at some point in their life has some sort of a rejection or a redirection. I like to see it as a redirection. So it's what you do with this redirection in your life. The universe was saying, you can do better, or this wasn't good. Trust me, this isn't what you think it is. So there's a little cosmic whisper behind this saying, I know it sucks, but I've got something better in store for you. Keep that in your mind and in your heart. There's something better. This I thought it was it. I feel sad. I'm going to cry, but it's going to be okay. And you can do that. You can go through all those emotions, but then you're going to think, well, what is out there? Go from the sadness to the curiosity. What else might there be? Why did this happen? Go into the interrogation state, and I think that's a healthier point of view. And then remember, you can do this. You may not do it right out of the gate, but athletes don't expect to kind of be perfect the first time. They go to batting practice. They swim every day. They run every day. They build up the muscle. They build up the muscle memories. Musicians practice. They sound terrible at first. I'm sure all of you have heard the kid that's practicing the trombone or the piano, and it's just not good. But it takes time, and who knows what that person will be in the future, right? So you have to move past failures. You fail to succeed. Fast failing, like, okay, I learned from this. What can I do next? I'm not going to sit in the energy of that too much. All right. And that's really what this is about. Healthy choices and healthy perspectives. All right. And even a universe, when it first starts, it's a big cloud of dust. The sun just sits there and keeps pulling at things until it makes sense. Sometimes things crash and burn. Takes a long time for that chaos to get into order. So it's never perfect from the first go. All right. Looking at wealth and opportunities around you. Mother, Father, God. All right. So this card is a reverse, but it's a super powerful message. So our parents are the conduit to this planet. They gave us the genetic material we needed to be here. They gave us hopefully a house and a home and some resources to grow up with. But sometimes they don't have everything that it takes to support us on a heart and soul level. And sometimes they leave us too soon or at an inconvenient time. Sometimes they're just non-existent. They step away or whatever. You are more than your parents. You are connected to this. This came through them. So the divine used two people to bring you to this planet, but ultimately you are connected. That is your all mother, all father energy. So you always have that connection to something bigger, something better, and you always are complete within. I had someone in my life once that kind of ruminated. They said, as someone who they were adopted, but they wondered if they could ever be whole. And I thought, what a telling statement that was, because I think you already are. Absolutely. You were born whole. We have things in our life that fracture us and make us wonder, are we whole? But you are always whole. So if I could ever go back and talk to that person, I would say, yes, you are. You're 100% whole. Because parents are their blood, and they're sort of like the elevator. We take that to come into the planet, but it's not always there. And sometimes you have to take the stairs. If it's not there, you can still find other ways. So for those of you that are having difficulties with mom, dad, sister, brother, boss, some sort of energy of family or it kind of, yeah, it is sort of divine masculine, divine feminine, boss energy, whatever. You are complete. You are absolutely complete. Okay. That's the message. And if you go back to the source energy, notice how she's reaching out to the star, to the sun. That's it. You don't need mom's permission. You don't need dad's permission. You don't need your boss's permission. Who cares what your brother or sister thinks, your aunt or your uncle? Let them all reject you if they need to. If you're doing what you need to be doing on this planet, it's fine. These are just biological connections that we had, but the soul is stronger than that. Chosen family is what matters. The friends that we choose, maybe the distant relatives that we click with more than the ones that are, right in our direct family. That's your family. That will help you. Pick a chosen family that supports you and lifts you up. Otherwise, you could be just kind of dimming your light to meet a very dim light already, right? So if people are very kind of in a dark space, you don't want to darken, you want to brighten. You want to help them out of that. So there you go. That's the main message there. I don't need to really go back into the cards for that. Okay, so let's take a look at love. Finding your voice here. We have Joan of Arc here. Voice of truth. Let me put my glasses on for a second for this one. Stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution, and speak your truth. And I'm glad that they mentioned that because she was punished for what she said, even though she was clairaudient, right? So it's kind of interesting to look back in history. And if you view people with a different lens, there were just a lot of like psychic and clairvoyant people. If you go back into biblical stuff like Jesus and Moses, they're mediums, right? So before you give a medium or a psychic a bad name, realize that the person that you're praying to is actually a medium. And that sometimes when you have to say things or kind of bring out the truth, it may not be what's popular, but it might be what's necessary. Joan of Arc is coming through to say, are you ready for that moment where you're going to stand your ground and move forward to the next stage? You might lose people or lose things in your life, but you may also gain a lot too. So there is a choice for some of you in relationships right now. Am I ready to stand up? Am I ready to speak out? There could be some fallout with that because, again, the persecution piece. Remember not to punish someone for speaking their truth. So if you are in a relationship and the person wants to break up, it's good to figure out why. But if they are saving you ultimately from being in a relationship where they're not committed. Same thing at work. If someone fires you, lays you off, or again, it closes down. This is the tower energy. When someone releases you, it could be the single biggest blessing that you receive. It is not fun at the time at all. We've all lost something like that. I've had a job before, again, where it was Thanksgiving. I wasn't fired, but the company just went out of business. And I thought, well, now what? I guess I go on unemployment for the holidays. Happy holidays. but it gave me a chance to reset. And a few months later or whatever, I was able to figure out a different approach. A year later, I was in the best job of my career. So we can come back from extreme losses and come and really sit into something even better. So sometimes the fallout is a cleanup. And that's really what this tower is. And that's why Joan of Arc came through too, saying it'll be okay. We don't have to meet her fate. Basically, it's just sort of like learning to use your voice, not being afraid, and then not putting yourself up there as you don't have to be a sacrificial lamb on this either. So say what you need to say, get in, get out if you need to, and move on. There's bigger things to focus on. For this whole spread here, know this: there is someone else who is very much interested in what you have to offer. So for every 3 of Swords, there's a 2 of Cups in the wings. And every 5 of Cups, there's a hidden 2 of Cups there. So there's a silver lining. It's just going through that moment of change that for many of us is difficult, right? Let's move along to the Destiny card. Where are you headed? What is this about? How can you become the star? What's holding you back? So we have the Sea Serpent here. This is a really cool card. Ouroboros, I think here, the snake that's kind of consuming its tail. But what I also see in the middle of this is sort of like this eye, this focal point. So for many of you, what is the big picture? This is kind of going beyond the minutia of every day. So if you had to really figure out something that makes you shine, makes you happy, what is it? Some of you might want to be a parent. Some of you might want to be an artist. Some of you might want to give back to the world. What's the big picture? What's your third eye looking at? Because that's what I really see here is an eye, if I were to kind of put it this way. So what is it that you are being asked to redirect your vision towards? All of these things that we talked about with the Tower, the Three of Swords, and this Mother, Father, God card that came through. It's really about helping you see the bigger picture, the big perspective. I think that once you are willing to step into that, that's the star. That's how you can say, all right, I know myself now. I know what I want. I don't care if you don't like it. And it doesn't matter. More importantly, you're going to find people that do like it, that do celebrate it. So I think the biggest thing that holds us back, and I'll pull one final card before we get into the meditation, is fear. Fear of what if? What if they say this? What if it doesn't work? What if it works and then I have to do something? What if it's a one-time thing? All of these what ifs, right? So let's see what if. What is the what if that is holding you back from really just turning on that star power? Okay. So for some of you, we've got the Hanged Man, and this Hanged Man is really cool because we see the Ankh, the power of, or the symbol of power and endless life or eternal life. So the thing that's holding you back is this fear. Well, first of all, for some of you, there's a fear of getting started. With the Hanged Man, it's sort of like, I'll do this tomorrow, or maybe I'll just wait and see how this works out. I'm waiting for a sign and a symbol. I think it's good to get the synchronicities. It's good to get the symbols, but also remember that at some point you have to take the tools that you have and then do something with them. So figure it out, but then act upon that at some point, because this can be a card of inaction. So when I'm looking at a fear-based message, it would be inaction for the hope that someone else would come to you, for the hope that something would happen externally. Remember, however, you're the flame, you're the fire, you're the source of all of this. So you have to create rather than wait, is what I would say when we look at these two things. So ultimately, if I'm going to give you a big picture of everything that we looked at today. There is a necessary movement or change that's happening. Are you going to ride the wave of change, or are you going to wipe out, using this sort of metaphor of surfing? A disappointment is just a redirection. And the redirection is showing somebody who really values you, or something that's really going to resonate with your energy. And I think that's the powerful piece here. So going back into the catalyst, what are you passionate about? How can you get other people to see that? To what lengths would you go to make this happen? And why are you waiting to get started? So my final sort of homework for you is to pick a date on the calendar to create some action. Circle it, whether it's a few weeks from now or a few months from now. Let's pick that start date. Let's make it happen sooner than later. And I feel like now is a great time because retrograde doesn't kick in until the 27th. You're in the pre-shadow, but you can still get some work done. You can do some planning during retrograde. And then after October 17th, you can get back into the action-based plan. So this is a good time right around the retrograde. Get some stuff done before, do some planning during, or some kind of following through during the retrograde. And then afterwards, really get the ball rolling. Have a fantastic final quarter of the year, which we're entering into with October just around the corner, okay? So yeah, as someone said here, baby steps, one step at a time, but begin with the decision, then begin with a phone call or an email, one little thing at a time. When I used to, and hopefully I'll be writing more, but like as I write books and things like that, my goal sometimes is just a page. Get a page done today. That's it. Whatever comes out, be done with that. We're good. One page a day. You can actually get 365 pages written in a year, or at least if you're putting that energy into that, you'd be surprised what can come through. Okay, so slow and steady and consistent, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, we're going to move into a meditation here in just a moment. A couple of quick notes as we get started. I haven't said this except at the beginning. I don't even think I said it at the beginning, so let me say it now. If you like what you see here, and I hope you do because I put my heart and soul in it, hit the subscribe button. I'm very close to a milestone, and when I get to 300,000, I'll do a very special video where maybe I'll answer some of your questions, or I'll throw out some ideas for what you want me to do in the 300,000 video. So let's get there faster. Hit the bell if you would like reminders and notifications on your devices. Otherwise, just hit the thumbs up. It helps with engagement. It helps people discover it. We have about half of you that have hit it. You can only hit it once, but please do consider hitting it. And if you want to see some of the channeled messages written out on my social media, here are all of the links. And again, you can go to the pinned comment in the corner if you missed anything here. For all of you that joined today or are kind enough to support me, thank you. You can keep doing that as we kind of navigate through the last part of this reading. I'll say thank you at the end. And if you want to say thanks on replay, there's the thanks button. It's right by share. I always hit a heart when I see that. And I do notice the folks that do this all the time. Again, it just allows me to do more videos. I'm now doing about 4 extra versus what I did about a year ago. So we're up to 16 versus 12. So that's thanks to you. All right, let's get started and let's get into our meditation. Meditation will take about 2 minutes. We're going to do a final card pull at the end. So if there's something that I didn't answer today, or if there's another aspect of the star that you would like me to look at, meditate on it while we're doing the singing bowl meditation. And then I will pull a card afterwards and give you some perspective on that. So let me get the mallet so we can play the singing bowl, and let's get started here. So we're definitely going to be working with star energy. I kind of want to go into our own symbolic Big Bang, where we're kind of coming out of this restrictive point and then creating something bigger. So let's do that. We're going to create many stars, not just one. All right. So I want you to close your eyes and see yourself in the moments before the world was created, where there was just quiet, where there was just dark. Just like when we all go to sleep at night, we have those moments of questioning what could be, what might be. And still something that's out of our realm of understanding, there was a moment where that singularity exploded and matter and life and energy came forth. For us as human beings, these moments of creation, it's a decision, it's an epiphany, it's a connection to source, much like that Mother, Father, God card that I was pulling here. So I think for many of you, what you need to do is connect to that source. What is it? What is it that really fires me up, since that was the sort of symbol of the day with the triangle that I saw? So connect to that and decide in this moment, I am what I see. I am ready for this. I'm going to create this and I can feel it. In this moment, imagine that all the energy of creation is right here in your heart space, and it's going to burst forward and it's going to push through the limits that you've set for yourself, the limits that mom and dad set, the frustrations, the failures, all the stuff that's been kind of like surrounding you like mud. In this moment, each and every beam of light and energy is going to push out and expand endlessly like our universe does. And now your choice is, which star do I want to go towards? What is the thing that I really want? Because the walls have been broken down. So you are in this moment of creation and expansion. Allow the energy to take you towards your home world, your home star. And that's where I want you to focus as we're meditating. And then we'll pull a final card for whatever questions you might have for me. Remember, things can be cloudy in the beginning. When our universe first started, when our galaxy first started, it was just a bunch of dust moving around a big glowing dot. Things get clearer over time. Don't expect things to be immediately perfect out of the gate. Give yourself time to collect your thoughts, collect the dust, let the dust clear, and allow yourself to create that clear vision. Figure out what it is that you want. Start to make steps, start to invest, start to move towards that each and every day. Allow this to be your compass. Allow this to be what is guiding you. Shine brightly. Don't let anybody in your life mute your light or take down that energy. Gently open your eyes when you're ready. Rub your hands together. Feel the warmth, the light, the heat, the energy that you always have within. Place that on your heart. Allow it to be healed. Allow it to be whole. See yourself as a whole being, with or without anybody else in your life. You have that energy of completeness or completion. All right. Final card, final question. Hold it in your heart, hold it in your mind. Think about something that you need clarity on, and I'm going to pull a final card to see what it's all about. All right, we have the Daughter of Swords, or the Page of Swords here. Really great card for, first of all, it's a yes. But what it's saying for you is that you are the one that needs to speak up, create the action, basically be the connection. So if there's an outlet and a cord ending here, and then this sort of machine here, you're the actual cord in between. You're that connective thread. So what are you doing to make the connection happen? Pay attention to what you're saying and what you're doing. And you're the one. Basically, it needs to come from you as well. So I would say, if there's something you need to say or do, you need to say or do it. Don't rely on an intermediate like a page to do this. You should be the one that is communicating it. So it's a yes, but it's requiring action, accountability, and ownership from you. And that's the most important piece with that. And put something into writing, or get those first steps rolling on that as well. Okay. So a good affirmative card here at the end for all of you. We like the Page of Swords, and it feels like we had a few pages come up today. So I feel like just being ready and willing to receive and to listen to those messages is also important. Okay. All right, that is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I'm going to take a couple moments here to say thank you to everybody. I already put up all of the cards showing you how to connect with me. One last time, if you like what you see, feel free to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Again, I'm really close to a milestone, and I appreciate your support. I will be back tomorrow. Let me put a quick link to my schedule, and so that you have that handy. Here's my schedule. And this week, just so you know what's coming down the pike as far as my schedule goes, I'll be doing Sagittarius on Monday, Capricorn on Thursday, Aquarius on Friday, another weekly reading next Sunday, and then I'll be wrapping up with Pisces on Monday. And then we'll rinse and repeat and start the next cycle the following week, the next Thursday probably. So again, you can check out the schedule there. I'm going to take a moment now just to say thanks. I saw we had some new members here. Let me see if I can see who joined. There was about at least 3 people, it looked like. So let me see if they're listed here. If not, I know that my moderator said that it doesn't look like they showed up here, but let me just hit a refresh and see if I can see it. Because I do appreciate everybody that came through. So let's see. Here we go. All right. So for the new members here, let me put on my glasses and just say thank you. And next week you get to vote, so I appreciate it. And when I do the Q&A, you'll be able to participate. So looks like Lulu did it before the video started, but Candace, Brooke, Angela, Chelsea, and Jody. Thank you so much, Jody Frazzi. I've seen you here a few times. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for joining in and helping me do more of this. It basically, those of you that do that every month, this is why I can do what I'm doing. So thank you. Let me also say thanks to those of you that were able to give back a little bit today. I'll do my best to do this in a fairly timely manner here, but I just want to make sure I do say thanks to everybody. So Cass, Lulu, AB, Sarah, and then this name I want to get right. It's either Xanthopy or Shanthopy. Thank you so much. Shelly, Tiffany, Chioko, Tishay B, thank you so much. You're always here. I appreciate it. Tonya, Maria, Friar Chick, Mad Monica, Jody Frazzi, again, a few times. I appreciate that. Thank you for the multiple contributions. Angela Stover, Candace McWabi, I think. Lorna, let's see here. We have Black Angel, Jocelyn, Floor, Boji, let's see. I cannot pronounce this one correct. Arlia or Arila. I'm sorry if I didn't get that right, but thank you. I appreciate the $19. Guerra means war. Kristen, Susie S, or Susie's, Sammy K, Kathy, twin readings, Kathy again, a different Kathy, Sarah Lulu again, Ollie Stewart, thank you, Miss Baxter, Lapri, AW, Jeannie Hart, thank you guys so much. I appreciate that you were all able to give back today. This really helps. Cheryl, Kate, Kit, Tony, Leonie, Jane, Ruby, Melissa, and Miss Moses. I'm sure I missed some new people. Vicky, I see you just gave back as well. Thank you so much. I may put up some requests for new decks that you want me to get, because before I've been able to kind of tap in. Actually, this one that I'm using right now was one of the suggestions that came through. So I'll reach out to you guys so I can reinvest some of this and get some new decks. And I always appreciate your contributions. So much love and light, everybody. Thank you for showing up. I hope I can see some of you tomorrow and again on Thursday, Friday, and next Sunday. In the meantime, have a fantastic week. Best from Apollo and I. He just woke up from his nap, and we're going to take him for a walk here soon. So take care, everybody. Thank you, Maria, for your help as well today. I know we went a little bit over. All right, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. All right, bye.